Hello Tacticians, it's Nox here, and I believe there's something in the air, as today we're going to talk about the most lovable of creatures, the summons, which our characters can summon. But before I get into that, I want to say my thank yous, and today they go to Baculum, and then player 4158, player 5690, player 6338, player 6992 and player 4795. All of you have used my friend code and it is very much appreciated, although I will admit I do like being able to thank you with a name rather than a player number, but it is very much appreciated, so thank you very much indeed. So now, what about those summons? So here we have all of the summons that we can do in the game at this precise moment in time. And the values here are for summons which are created by a rarity character who has got the ability for the summons at level 26. Why this level? Well, this is, I would say, the first stopping point because of the tournament arena. And to be honest, it's probably good enough to get you through those first couple of campaigns as well before you decide, do I really want to go any further with this character? So many of these are very self-explanatory: health, armor, damage, and of course the close combat attacks with their pierce and the range attacks with their pierce. The two which are not so self-explanatory are the two at the end, the minimum and maximum. Now, the minimum is not the minimum amount of damage they do, obviously, because otherwise Skitari would be a lot lower than this. It's the minimum amount that they're going to do once they've moved to their optimal range. So for Skitari, they should hopefully going to move to a range attack, and therefore the minimum attack here is 197. They're not going to stay in close combat if they can help it. And the maximum is, of course, the maximum amount of damage they can do, assuming the enemy has no armor whatsoever. So you're probably not going to see those numbers very often. Now, the one thing I haven't put in is the number of summons you get, as quite often this does rely upon either the skill level, the turn number, or indeed how many characters have died before. So bear that in mind as you're looking at these numbers. At this particular rarity, you can see the Inceptor really does shine for the Imperial faction. You get a good number of summons, as long as you don't do it on turn 1, but sometimes you do need to do it on turn 1. And the damage it puts out is still very relevant in today's game. For the Xenos, it's kind of a case of, well, you need to use them in their own campaigns, if they have one. But if you start considering the tournament arena, you can see where you really want to focus your time, and that really is with Shosil Sniper Drone and, maybe a bit surprisingly, the Tyranid Warrior that the Winged Tyranid Prime can summon. That does seem to be quite a powerhouse at this level. And of course, Chaos. The humble Bloodletter is still very much relevant, although I guess it really has been overtaken by the Screamer summons from the Thousand Suns, who you can use in the Chaos campaigns. So what's the best to get out of all these? And really it does depend on what you're trying to do. If we assume the tournament arena, you can really see that those Tyranid Warriors are putting out a lot of damage quite consistently, and the Wing Prime could fit in a team with Ragnar. But don't forget, with the Pink Horror and the Screamers, you can summon a lot of those in one turn without having to wait the same number of turns that you would need to wait for one of the Inceptors, or indeed the Necron Warriors. So at this particular level, for the TA, you can probably say that the Pink Horror and Screamers are the runaway leaders of the pack, with of course some of the others being very useful, especially since their main characters are used very frequently in the tournament arena as well, such as Gemini Superior and of course the Sniper Drone. So how about a little competition courtesy of Snowprint? All that you need to do is leave in the comments below which summoner you love and why you love them, and 3 of you will be in with a chance of winning 50 shards for that summoner. This competition will close with the first video that I do on or after the 21st of February. So good luck. And now let's look at some legendary level 50 summons. So at legendary level 50, things have certainly changed. The Bloodletter, as we said before, whilst it was relevant at level 26, is really left behind. Now, the one thing with the Bloodletter, which I didn't mention before, is if they move that turn before initiating combat, they actually get an extra attack and another additional attack if they're a Psyker. Even with that extra attack, they really are looking lackluster at level 50. Comparing that to those Screamers, there is a massive difference, and those screamers are really holding their own. Bellator's Inceptors are still looking amazing for the Imperials, and those Sigitari, I think they truly do actually need a bit of a buff. However, again, it is that Tyranid Warrior and Hormigaunt which are leading the pack when it comes to damage. Those numbers certainly seem very good indeed. It's a shame that the actual number of places where we use them is very limited, but maybe there'll be a place for them in time. And you can also see with the sniper drone, it's actually very consistent in the amount of damage it puts out. I hope this will help you decide where to put those hard-earned ability badges to maximise your characters, and these images will be able to be found on Reddit as well. If you like these videos, then it would be much appreciated if you at least think about using my friend code, as it really does help me out. Or if you or your guilds are looking for a new home, please reach out to any of the guilds shown, as we'll always welcome new people into our midst. As always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the battlefield.